Welcome back to Two Real, Two Truths and a Lie. 3 stories, 2 actually happened, 1 is completely made up. Your job is to figure out which one. But this week, there's a twist on the twist because every story tonight is about the same thing: a system, an algorithm, a chatbot. Two Real, Two Truths and a Lie.
Sorry.
A piece of technology making a life-altering decision about a real person. And in every single case, the question isn't just real or fake. The question is, when the system fails you and you made a choice that left you exposed, are you the asshole?
Exactly. As we go through each story, think about 2 things: real or fake. And who's actually responsible when it all goes wrong? Is it the system, the company, or the person who trusted it?
No right answers, just gut reactions. Let's get into it. If you're new, subscribe now. We do this every Monday. Two real, two truths, one lie.
Excellent. And before we get started, we've got a bonus. This is our 8th episode, so we're on month 2 of every week going on with these stories. And we have a special guest joining us this evening. And I'm going to bring our special guest into the conversation. This is Penelope. Hello, Penelope.
Hello.
So, Penelope is one of our top students with her channel on YouTube here. It's at Mind Mystique 11. So you need to check that out. But she is going to be joining and adding her commentary onto the stories this evening. So with that, let's get started. So, story number 1. Am I the asshole for trusting a phone number I Googled when I lost my entire retirement? I need someone to tell me whether I'm the asshole here, because I've been sitting with this for months and I still can't decide. I'm 61 years old. I spent 35 years building my retirement. Building my retirement. Not in a pension, not in a savings account, in crypto. I did my research, I understood the risks, and for years it worked. I had 1.3 million in digital assets across 3 wallets. Then one afternoon, my phone rang. The number that appeared on the screen was the real legitimate support number of one of the platforms I use. I know this because I've seen it before. I've called it before and it looked exactly right. The person who answered said there had been suspicious login attempts on my account from 3 different countries. They knew my account name, they knew my email address, they knew the approximate value of my holdings. They said they needed to verify my identity immediately to prevent my assets from being locked. They were calm, professional, patient. They walked me through what they called a security verification process. They never asked for my password. What they asked for was my wallet's recovery phrase. Oh dear. So for identification verification, they said it was encrypted on their end and never stored. I hesitated. They said, "Sir, if you don't verify in the next 10 minutes, we'll freeze your account for the next 30 days while we investigate manually." I gave them the phrase. Within 4 minutes, my wallet was empty, 1.3 million gone. I hit the callback on the number, it disconnected. I went to the actual company's website and called their main line directly. They told me they had never called me. They don't have my telephone. They don't have a telephone customer support, and they would never, under any circumstance, ask for a recovery phrase. What had happened? What I only understood afterwards is that the number on the screen was spoofed. The scammers had made their outgoing call appear to come from a real company, or the company's real legitimate number. When the call came in showing the company's real number, I believed it was. And when I tried calling back, I hit call back at the same number, the number that appeared on my screen, which routed me straight back to the scammer, not to the real company, to them. Here is what I didn't know, and that it's now too late. A spoof number doesn't only work in one direction. The scammer can make a call appear to come from a legitimate number. But when you hit callback on that number, you are not reaching the real company. You're reaching whatever line the scammer has set up to receive callbacks. The display is fake. Hitting callback routes you back to them. I didn't know that. I hit callback. I thought I was verifying. I wasn't. And then I gave the recovery phrase to someone on that call, which is the single thing you're never ever supposed to do ever, under any circumstances, for any reason. I knew that. I read it multiple times and I did it anyways because a calm professional voice told me my retirement was about to be frozen. So am I the asshole? I hit callback even when I had doubts, but thought I had been doing my due diligence and verification, but actually routed myself back to the scammer. And then I gave my recovery phrase under pressure. Or is the asshole the system that allows scammers to spoof legitimate numbers so convincingly that even hitting callback doesn't save you? The technology that lets criminals know my account details before I said a word. That is true. They did know a lot of his stuff. And the platform that has no phone support, but whose users are being targeted by people impersonating them by phone. My retirement is gone. I did things that in hindsight were mistakes, but I didn't know they were mistakes when I made them. So am I the asshole? What do you guys think? Why don't our guest? What is your first thoughts, Miss Penelope?
My first thoughts are that they are in the wrong in several ways, because when something's sketchy, you need to do some investigating before immediately going into action. But I can also see in the way that they was nervous that their retirement fund would be frozen, and they didn't want to deal with that.
Exactly. Well, I feel, and you can go right into it, Mike, but I always like how it's like they'll get you to do things that you normally wouldn't do, right? Like that's part of that scam. And they'll convince you against your better judgment, right? Oh, I don't know if I can hear you, Mike. I think you might be muted.
I think he's muted.
No, somebody muted me.
Well, I had temporarily muted while I talked.
What was my comment? It was noisy. What was my comment? Hackers and scammers are smooth operators. So, number one rule of crypto: don't trust anybody. When you're setting up these online wallets, that's the first set of instructions. Never give out your recovery phrase because the platform never needs it. So I do think you're the asshole but you were it was an elaborate trick, very elaborate.
It was an elaborate trick. It really was, right? Also the big thing is like I don't think people realize these spoofed numbers. Like if they call, like I get this often where it looks like a legit number, but then you're like, but why would this company call you? And then you go into their website or whatever, and you kind of realize they don't have an out calling thing, or you do some research. And really, if you're ever going to call a company back, you need to go dial the number in. That is also part of it. So not only go to their website and make sure it's the right same number and it's matching, you need to dial that phone number in because it's going to just reroute you and reroute you to the scammer, right? And I don't think people realize that.
Well, this is why the rules are like with cybersecurity, with crypto, trust no one, because that minute you assign trust to a relationship, it could go very well for you or very poorly, just because it's one and it's just one decision, one moment, right? Because he could have just said, "Hey, this seems weird," not do anything about it, but he acted right
Exactly.
away.
And that, well, just like anything, most scams, they want you to act quickly. So think about it. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's in our system, outside the system, a hacker, when they're pushing you to respond quickly, that is when you almost need to like say, wait, I need to go and take some time.
Yep.
And that's the big thing with sales. I know I've done sales. They want you, when the person's there and you're easily convincing them, then they want you to sign then, right? Because you walk away, you might convince yourself not to buy something, right?
Exactly. And we've been on websites where it's like, limited quantities or this or this or this or this. It's like ticket sales. Like it's like a rush, but like, are you going to like your decision after you make a really rush decision?
Exactly. Go ahead, Penelope. What were you going to say?
As I was going to say, I do find it also with myself, the more rushed I am with decision making, a lot of times, even though I know the better, I will choose by accident the wrong one, whether it's a misclick or I'm panicking. Because people panic when they're stressed out, when they have a time crunch.
They are. You are exactly right. That's when you panic. That's when you're not thinking as clearly, is when you feel rushed, right? So, I guess the overall verdict, let's start with our guest, Penelope. Do you think he is the asshole, or what do you think?
I do believe he is mostly in the wrong, but I do believe there can be some sympathy there because, of course, you make mistakes. It was stressing, and I completely forgot what I was going to say.
No, but that's correct, right? Like that, it was very stressful that he got scammed, right? Like you got to have sympathy for the fact that why is it allowed that people can be spoofed? Why can your phone numbers be spoofed? Why is that why is that something that can actually happen? That technology that seems like a way to just cover shady things, right? So there's just things that are set up to be abused, right? So very much, leaning, you'll give him a little sympathy, but mainly he is an asshole. What about yourself, Mike? What is your verdict on that?
Sympathy doesn't bring back his cryptos.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So as I said, asshole. He knows the rules. So if you're willing to break those rules, you got to be willing to put up with the consequences.
Well, I agree. There was a lot of people that said not the asshole. There was a lot on Reddit. The scammers gamed the search results. They knew his account details. That is an unfortunate part. It is real, right? But literally have to believe that if they scrape the internet, they can find a huge amount of information on you, right? They had everything he did, and he was doing what mostly a reasonable person would do, verified the number, but didn't do the full due diligence, right? But also didn't know to, right? There was a lot of people saying he was the asshole. You gave your recovery phrase and you knew you were never to give those, right? So that's the one rule everyone in crypto knows. There's no version of where that's not on you, which is true. Like that straight up is like, what? Why? No, right?
Yes.
And then so a lot came in between. He made the mistake under pressure, but the platform that has no phone support and whose users are being targeted by voice scammers is also failing its customers because, clearly if they know that this stuff is happening, and I guess it's the due diligence of anybody online to remind your users or anybody that logs into your website that you don't have out calling support if you don't, right? Just to remind people all the time, right? So that is a point of that. But the top comic vibes, the scariest part isn't that he got scammed. It's that hitting callback on a spoof number routes you back to the scammer, not to the real company. And most people don't know that. And that's what the scammers are counting on. Oh, I think you're muted still, Mike.
It's weird because he says he's phoned that number before, but they have no phone support, so.
Well, no, they don't have an out calling phone support, is what they said.
Yeah, well, okay.
Because anyway. he called them when he asked, and they said that they didn't have an outgoing.
So the number looked recognizable, but they were using VoIP, and then like.
Exactly. So you can call them and they'll answer it, but they're not going to proactively call you and tell you anything about your account.
Because we've seen weird things where it's like the phone number's off by like a 1 or like a bracket or something like that. And you're like, that doesn't look real.
Exactly. I think a huge giveaway is the +1, and I've done some research. Sometimes it isn't. When there's a plus, it can come from the legitimate company, but I feel like, and as soon as I see a plus in front of it, that's like my trigger that that's probably spoofed, or the company is doing it on their end to have that person call under their number, right? So I'm going to be really hesitant. As I've said before, don't answer your phone. That's probably your best option. Just don't answer it. So that was our story number 1. I realized I was a little slow on the image. I forgot to put it up. I Googled the number, am I the asshole? Remember that? And please put in the chat if you think it is real or fake. And we have some people here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So I got some Tony Day. I'm not sure which song they're talking about. Somebody's gotten some cracks. So we got some comments. So thank you everybody that's commenting. And please drop your opinion. Is this real or fake? And we will continue going into story number 2. Let me get that image up first. So I'm on top of that. So story number 2. Oh, Blaine said story 1 is fake. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because we're going to go through all of our stories today. But let's go into story 2. Am I the asshole? I trusted the platform. So this story, I teach people how to protect themselves from AI. That's my job. I have been doing it for years. I have nearly 600,000 followers across my accounts. My entire career is built on explaining in plain language exactly how AI systems can harm ordinary people when there's no transparency, no accountability, and no human being in the loop to catch the mistakes. I know this, I teach this every single day. And then I created an Instagram account for my dog. My dog, I'll call her Miss P, had a rough start to life. She came from a puppy farm. She was traumatized, terrified of everything, and spent her first days at home pretending to be dead whenever I came near her. My audience had been following her recovery and they loved her. Thousands of people asked me to create a separate account so they could follow her journey. So I did. I typed a username, I entered some basic details, I pressed create. The account was deactivated before I could write a bio. The automated email said the new account violated community standards on account integrity. It did not specify which standards. It did not explain what I had done wrong. There was no human to contact. There was no specific policy I could point to that I had violated. I hadn't written a bio. I hadn't posted anything. I hadn't even added a profile picture. An algorithm looked at my account the moment it was created and decided it shouldn't exist. I appealed. I submitted my ID, my passport, my face, a written explanation. The response came back within minutes. Upon closer inspection, I was, in fact, in violation of what? Still no answer. Here's where it gets worse. I didn't know this rule existed. If one account in your account center is flagged, all of your accounts can be flagged, and you cannot create any new accounts ever. So 3 weeks later, my second account, a book club where I teach AI literacy to thousands of people, where I make most of my income, was deactivated. The reason given, I had a violating account in my account center. Miss P's account, the one that was deactivated before it had a bio, now I have 2 deactivated accounts. My main account with nearly 600,000 followers, years of content, my entire professional experience could be next. For the same reason, a dog account was shut down the second it was created. I'm in therapy. I'm on medication. I wake up every day not knowing if my career will exist by the end of it. Here's the am I the asshole part. I tell people every single day, Do not put your eggs in one basket. Build your email list. Do not trust a platform you don't own to hold your audience for you. I have said this out loud to hundreds of thousands of people for years. I had 600,000 followers on a platform I don't own, with no email list, with no backup, and with my entire income dependent on a system I know. Professionally, academically, periodically, or empirically, I can say that word. Just professionally, academically, she knew better. It's opaque, unaccountable, and can remove you at any moment for reasons it will never explain. I knew the stove was hot. I've been warning people about the hot stove for years, and I put my hand on it anyways because I thought the rules didn't apply to me. I thought if I played by the rules would protect me. An algorithm has no idea who I am, what I do, or what my dog's account was for. Decided in milliseconds that I shouldn't exist on a platform, and there was no human being alive who can override it. So am I the asshole? There you go. What do you think of that? Let's go with our guest, Miss Penelope. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, as a YouTuber myself, a big fear that I know a lot of people have is getting their account taken down. So with me, I make sure I have all my videos also saved on my phone. I unfortunately don't post on other platforms besides YouTube, but this is a clear example of it's good to be on multiple platforms. I do animations. It's kind of hard to post that on some websites, some apps. So it makes, but with her type of content, from what she said, could have easily been posted on TikTok, YouTube. Let's go Facebook even.
No, exactly. So why wasn't she? Right? And she was talking about it. It sounds like, Mike, I know you have some opinions on it. Give us some of your opinions.
This is why, if you don't know, I learned a long time ago, when you don't own the list, when you don't own the customer list, that is a bad day when you learn that. So you need to build multiple audiences everywhere. It's not surprising, because of course your account can get banned at any time, and we have students where they got one closed and then another one was closed. They were like, I guess you violated gray area, and you're just going to have to wait until they, confirm your identity and let you back in, and then just be cognizant that you want your content everywhere.
Well, that's if you can get back in and get your content, right? Or you have to start all over again and rebuild. And that's also what we're promoting. Our visibility engine is about so you're showing up everywhere. So when this is a perfect example of a situation we talk about that can happen, where for some reason, the AI targeted her and took her down, and then it lost her other account from that. Like, these are insane stories that are happening. This is really what's happening. So I find it kind of interesting, because I know I had talked about doing the AI training through the the US government, texting me daily, teaching me about it. And one of the big things that they teach is that you, the human, need to do due diligence. So whatever it gives you as an outcome. So in this case, the platform making this decision should never come from the AI. That's actually what the government is teaching. The government's teaching that there should be a human, just like this creator that warns people about AI, that says there should always be a human in that loop before that process. This is a perfect example of why there should be a human. And even the government is teaching people to use AI that way, but then we have these platforms and these companies that do not, are literally getting rid of humans. And then maybe after fighting, you might eventually get to a human, or if you make enough of a stink on social media that there's enough of a word and it starts to embarrass the platform, then maybe they'll do something, right? So it's not a good thing. It's not a good look for where we're heading.
No, and in this situation, like what triggered, like there's somebody with, that third account and no strikes, no flag, like nothing before that. So it's super interesting.
Who knows? Well, it was like what we were talking about today that I'm going to use in a story next week, was that one link I sent you about what's happening, and I don't, without giving it away for next week, it is this thing of, it's about AI. It's about AI making in ways that it's working together to track you behind the scenes, and you don't even know, right? So you don't know what it's actually that's probably why they want these data centers, is so they can process and have oh yeah, no, we're going to be censored now, right? So in the background, so it's not good. But let's go with the verdict. What do you believe? Do you believe that this person was an asshole or not, Penelope?
I do. It's from what she said. I do not believe she's not an asshole. Just she could have had her stuff on other platforms. Yes, but I know a lot of people don't do that. Different reason for every person, whether they don't wanna or they have some reason.
Not to cut you off, but the irony is that she was preaching people to do it, right? And then she didn't do it.
That is a bit of irony, but as luckily with my animations, I'm able to keep them in my photos. In my like camera roll. I know with a lot of people who do mostly lives, don't usually have that. But one of the things
takes a lot of space up, and at some point you're
Yes.
going to max out your space too, right?
With me, I delete all the photos I use to create it and just keep the base video before I add my watermark. So if, let's say, my YouTube channel does get taken down, I'm able to just repost the videos that I worked very hard on.
Well, I'm glad you have a plan.
In this person's case, they were just worried about, I don't think it was part of the story, whether or not they lost access to their huge account, which is likely making them money because they have an audience on it. But if you lose your account, you may have the data, it's just the audience. That audience takes so long to build.
Exactly. Some people might luck out and, have a really, really great video that goes viral and builds up an audience very quickly, right? But the majority of people have built their audience over a long time, right?
With me, I do have 3K subscribers, which I'm really happy about. I've been doing YouTube for around 2 years, and it took me a decent amount of time to build it up. I do say I did go more quickly than I've seen a lot of really small YouTubers, and I've actually seen people who post, I would say, cooler or better animations, I'm still learning, and have less views and less subscribers than I get. So
well, I'm going to say the algorithms of YouTube is unfair.
Yes, it's very unfair. Because
it's very unfair. Sorry, go ahead. One last comment, and then we'll put the verdict
One last
out.
comment, not trying to make this super duper long. But I'm going to say that she is the asshole. Because but also I'm just stuck in the middle.
You're stuck in the middle. Fair enough.
Yes.
What about yourself, Mike?
Sorry, I'm just checking on our power here. I think she is. If her business, it depends. If her business is built on telling people to have how to grow and be on multiple platforms, then she is the asshole. So she's not an asshole for getting banned, but for preaching to build it, and she's gonna lose her list all overnight just because it's only on one social media. Then it's tough.
It is, and I agree. I think a little bit of the asshole for not promoting when she started, because obviously I'm assuming she might have some stuff posted on other social medias, but they're not as big, right? So really, I guess it's not that for the lacking the foresight of like really pushing to get her followers to follow her on other platforms as well, right? So not only on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, follow me in Rumble, and also reminding them in case I disappear, you can find me here, because especially when you're talking about it and know that can be a possibility, even if you think, oh, if I follow the rules, I'll never get, removed. I that should reduce my odds of getting removed, but it can't guarantee anything, right? Because who knows exactly what the algorithm was doing in the back end, right? But making sure you're promoting that you're showing up everywhere, so that if somebody does go looking for you, but they're like, oh, I wonder if she was deplatformed or something, and then they go and find you somewhere else, and you still have all that content there, right? So it's that little bit of just not really having that foresight, because the fact that she's still so stressed really should be, well, no, people can still find you, right? Yeah, you might be missing here, but at least you can still be found by those really hardcore fans that are going to look for you, right? You haven't disappeared off the planet.
If you had that email list, you could just email them saying, "Hey, I've been deplatformed," or send a text blast out.
Exactly. So promoting that, offering something to get your viewers to buy or to get something for free so you can gather their emails, or just to sign up in case this happens, right? And that's actually a good learning for us. We should be doing that as well. So that'll be something we'll have to implement in the next few weeks. Just, give that motivation. Like if something happens on a platform, you can follow us here and subscribe to be notified, in case we do disappear. Because and I was actually going to say, in the worst case scenario, you could be deplatformed simultaneously off of every platform. In the future, could be very possible, especially with the data centers. I'm saying, right, that you do one wrong move on one of them and you could almost just not exist on every platform. We might not be there, but it could be very simultaneously that you get deplatformed off of a number of them at one point, right? I wouldn't doubt that is going to be a possibility. But the overall was that she was not an asshole, was the Reddit's. She didn't do anything wrong. A dog account that had no bio, no photo, no post was flagged by the algorithm that couldn't possibly have assessed its content. This is pure automation overreach with zero accountability. And that's very, very true, right? Like, there wasn't even anything there. You literally banned an account from being opened, right? And there wasn't even a
The name was offensive.
the letter P, if that's what she named it, I don't know, right? Because that was actually my only thought when I was going through this. I'm like, well, if it's the name P, maybe that was what was offended. I don't know. There was a little bit of the "you are the assholes" we were discussing. She literally teaches people not to do exactly what she did. That she didn't own her own email list. Didn't make sure if this happened that she had a way that people could find her. But a little bit of both. She made the choice. She knew it was risky. The platform was built on a system that makes life-altering decisions with no transparency, no human override, and no genuine appeal process. So both of them are true. And comment was the most unsettling part is that she's an expert and still couldn't navigate the system. Still got burnt by the system being an expert of this system, right? So on that, you guys ready for story number 3? So everybody remember, that's our first story. We talked about let me go back here. So the guy who got scammed out of his cryptos, gave out his passwords. Then story number 2 is about this content creator on AI and warning AI, and got herself deactivated off of her largest platform.
Because she warned people. It's because she, what? I was like rereading through it. It was like specifically because she was warning people about AI. AI took her out.
I would say there was a little bit of that I had thought as well. Like, how far are we away from Terminator?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
I'd watch that movie again.
We do. We need to, because we have not watched that with Penelope. Okay, let's go to story number 3. So again, you can put your guesses in if you want now or at the end. Did you think the number 2 was real or fake? And let's go into story number 3. Am I the asshole for trusting a company's own chatbot to tell me their policy? My grandmother died. I had booked a last minute flight. Anyone who does this knows how expensive the prices and how expensive it is. The prices are completely different when you're booking 48 hours out. I heard that the airline had bereavement fares for exactly this situation. Discounted rates for people who travel urgently for a death in the family. I went to the airline's website. I couldn't find the bereavement information easily, so I did what the website asked me to do. I used their chatbot. The chatbot told me that yes, the airline offers bereavement fares, and it told me something else. I didn't need to apply for the discount at booking. I could book it at regular price, apply for a retroactive refund on the difference afterwards. It gave me the steps for how to do that. I booked the ticket at the full price, attended my grandmother's funeral, and when I got home, I submitted the retroactive discount request exactly as the chatbot had described. The airline denied it. Their response, the chatbot had given me incorrect information. Their actual policy was different, and since I hadn't applied for bereavement discount at the time of booking, they couldn't retroactively apply it. The window had passed, the fare I'd paid stood. The pushback, I said, your chatbot on your website told me this was the process. I followed your process. I shouldn't be penalized because your chatbot gave me the wrong information. They said the chatbot is not an official source of policy information. Customers should consult the official policy documentation. I said the chatbot is your official website. I came to your official website to find your policy. Your website directed me to the chatbot. The chatbot told me the policy. How is this not your responsibility? They said they are not responsible for information provided by the chatbot. I took it further, and here's where the am I the asshole part comes in, because a lot of people told me I was overreacting. The chatbot was clearly just a tool, not an official policy document, and that I should have called a human agent to confirm, that I should have read the actual written policy on the website instead of relying on a chat interface to interpret it for me. And maybe they're right. Maybe I should have screenshot the conversation. Maybe I should have called and confirmed with a human. Maybe trusting a chatbot to accurately represent company policy was naive. But here's my position. The chatbot was on the official website. It was built by the company, or they paid for the program and put it on, right? It was programmed by the company. It represents the company every time I interact with it. If the company puts a tool on their website that tells customers the wrong policy and the customers act on the wrong information and lose money as a result, that is the company's problem, not mine. I'm not a legal expert. I'm a person whose grandmother died. I used a tool on a company's website. The tool was wrong. I lost money. So am I the asshole for taking a chatbot at its word? Go ahead, Penelope. What are your thoughts?
Oh, so my thoughts about it is he is a bit of an asshole, but the company did say that to go check their guidelines, go to the chatbot. He is a bit of an asshole because I know with you and you working on your website or when you're on other people's website, everyone wants to talk with an actual person. And that AI can make really bad mistakes, whether forgetting something you've told it several times not to forget. So I'm going to blame mostly on the company because the company said that the chatbot was where you would go to get the information. He acted on the chat box, but the chatbot was supposedly wrong and he lost money. And I'm also blaming him a bit because if I would have been looking, I would have tried to find some sort of contact of a actual person who worked there. But let's say that wasn't actually being able to be it wasn't accessible, then it's 100% the company's fault.
Well, you bring up one really good point, because there was somebody I was following who was demonstrating, and they were doing a video of it where they were calling a company. It was a hotel, and she was stuck in a loop with a chat bot on the phone. And she realized she was talking to a chatbot that wouldn't admit it was a chatbot. And eventually, it was like 4 or 5 minutes into it, she asked enough questions that it had to admit it was a chatbot. So these companies are not necessarily hiring, but you might as well call it, they're implementing AI. Those AIs are representing their company. It is, in my opinion, and you can go Mike next, but I'm going to say the company is the asshole, because if they're using it and they've put it up on their website and it's representing their company, and they don't program it with the right information and they're giving out the wrong information, that is on the company.
Sorry. 100%. But we bring this up a lot where website Google Maps details are wrong, company information on their website is wrong. There's all these instances where you find wrong information publicly. So it's more so on the there was one piece of information, having no screenshots is a bit of it. When you have no evidence to point out to back your side of it, I know people don't think about taking documentation, but I'm like, you need to have documentation, because you don't know if you're dealing with legitimate company, legitimate website, because this is also where people get scammed. I know this was booking airline flight, but is every website on the internet valid with even like with airfare? Because unless it was with that particular, I'm assuming he booked it with a particular company, but I know there's like, oh, I booked it with this like this airline company, and they booked the ticket for me, and then all the rules are opposite or whatever. Because
Yeah.
So you got to speak to humans if you want to know the actual bereavement policy.
Well, but then there's the problem, like I said, where you could call, and are you even going to get a human again? So are we getting circle jerked, right? So you go to the website, it's giving you the wrong information, or you want to verify with somebody, so you call.
Whenever you want a deal, whenever you want a deal, it's going to be the hardest deal to get, because unless it's listed and you book it at the time and they follow through with, like, realistically, there should be a way for people to book for funerals, right? Like an official system where they pay up front and it's booked as a bereavement fare. Like, there should be, but should be a way to do that.
But you know what? But the reality is, like, why update your website to have that option where they can just provide an evidence of whatever they need for the bereavement or whatever, and to do it with less human interaction, when you can just put an AI to lie to the people, so you don't ever have to pay for a bereavement. So you technically have it, but when the people are all given the wrong information, you never have to actually implement it, right? There's some major award-winning savings for the company, and this is where they're hiding behind their own incompetence. This is very much like, it doesn't work. If it is going to be there to read policies, it should be giving the right policies. If it's there to not answer policy questions, then it should be giving the user the 1-800 number or whatever to call a human and confirm. That would be doing your due diligence and being an ethical company. But it's not about actually doing a good job for you. It's not about ethics. It's about bottom line. It's always about money, and where you are and how you're treated as a human is kind of irrelevant to these companies. But go ahead, Penelope. I can see you got something.
Thank you. I do agree. Like, companies, I won't say most, because I bet there might be a few but a lot of them are money hungry, and we're not sure if they told the chatbot that then they refuted it and said that it was like a mistake that the AI made. So
Exactly. We don't even know. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know if they purposely left a trap to literally get out of having to compensate people, or if it was just, just not a foresight that wasn't really there, and it's reading something from another AI company that's using it for another flight company, right? So there'd be the AI could actually be used at another competitor who that's their process. And so it's just giving you whatever it's pulling from the background database, which again, if I talk about the AI training I'm doing that I had done through the US government on the texting, it talked about needing to confirm that the information you were getting is up to date for that company too, right? So AI is going to pull stuff, but if historical stuff comes up first, it may not dig farther, right? So this is, I would totally say, completely the company, because the company should be knowing and fully aware of what the AI is doing. And if the AI is giving misinformation, then that is on the company, because you legitimately, you've replaced people. There's no person that's there texting back anymore. There's no human. We had humans that would be the online support. There's not a human there anymore. You are replacing humans answering the phone. If these are replacements, which are employees, they need to be trained up to standards as if they were an employee.
mhm.
And what about your opinion, Mike?
Company's the asshole. Come on.
I think we'll agree on that.
Yes.
Well, where are the results? Oh, where am I? There go. Overall verdicts was not the asshole, was the majority. The chatbot is the company's official website. They built it, they programmed it, they put it there to answer customers' questions. If it gives the wrong information and a customer loses money as a result, that is the company's liability, full stop. Some people did kind of say you are the asshole that you trusted the chatbot over the written policy. You didn't screenshot the conversation, and you didn't verify with a human agent. You didn't call for a financial decision. That's on you. But like we talked about, they're already replacing people that are on the phone anyways, right? And then there was a couple comments like he should have verified, and the company should not be able to disclaim responsibility for a tool they put in and deployed on their official website, like I was saying. And if the company can say we're not responsible for what our chatbot, why does the chatbot exist? What would it actually be for? If it's not to represent the company and the company policies, what is the point there? Just to literally just
They've replaced contact us forms. That's all they've really done is replace like a dynamic contact us form. Type in a question. Here's an answer, but please call our customer service number at 1-800.
well, it didn't even tell them to do
Well,
that.
I know.
It gave them a full process, Mike. Like that, I find amazing. Is that they got a full process
Hallucination.
That
from the other airline company that it also works for.
and
Oh.
in mine, I don't usually with chatbots, because I've seen on other websites, you will ask them a question, they'll have no response, and immediately like, go contact a human.
Exactly.
So
That's what's supposed to happen if it doesn't know. So it is very suspicious that it even gave out a process. So my thought is very much about the story we were talking about that I'm going to cover next week, where it's doing the same thing. Like literally, I'm wondering if it's one consciousness, all this AI that's literally communicating and building a background platform. So this AI is probably dispersed amongst multiple airlines, are all bought the same platform, right? The same AI, and they just put it in without actually making sure it's implemented for their specific business, right?
mhm.
So on that, any last comments on story number 3?
No, I was gonna go into the final guess here. So
Yep.
three stories. One is completely made up. Story 1. Am I the asshole for trusting a phone number I Googled when I lost my entire retirement? Story number 2. Am I the asshole for being devastated that an algorithm destroyed my livelihood when I warned people about this for a living? And the third story. Am I the asshole for trusting a company's own chatbot to tell me their own policy? Lock it in. Drop your answer in the chat. Which one is the lie?
So let's put our guesses. Penelope, which one do you think is a lie?
I believe the first one is a lie. I don't really have a reason behind it, mostly because all of them did sound like things that could have really happened. But the one thing I did notice, you got much more enthusiastic / sounded much more in depth about the number 2 and number 3. So that's why I'm going with number 1.
Okay, good call.
Based on the hints.
What's your guess, Mr. Duffy there?
Okay. I'm gonna go with the lie. I'm gonna go with number 3.
Okay. Are you ready? Do a little drum roll, please. And the lie was that you were safe. They were all real. They were all from real stories that happened.
Damn!
So that got you guys this week. There was no fake story. And it's really, when you go with this, what we're talking about is we've done now 8 episodes, 2 truths and a lie, and every episode there's been a fake. A story that was written to sound real but wasn't, because we needed one. Because the format, we were looking for one. This week, there isn't one, because we looked at what's actually happening right now. The AI systems, the platforms, the algorithms, the automated decisions being made about real people's real lives. We couldn't find a fake one that's worse than the truth at this point. So that is the point. The man who lost his retirement savings after a spoofed phone number displayed on his platform, displaying his platform's real number, hits callback to verify, routed to a scammer. The AI ethicist, is that how you say that? Ethicist, someone who spends her entire professional life warning people of exactly this, being deplatformed by AI algorithms, made her livelihood threatened by an algorithm, and that couldn't tell the difference between spam and an account for a dog. And then a grieving man was told by an airline they weren't responsible for what their own chatbot said, until a tribunal told them otherwise. And as a side note, that was actually Air Canada.
I was gonna say
that was Air Canada.
That's, from what I know about Air Canada and what I've seen, that makes sense.
That's so bad when my almost 14-year-old says that makes sense, okay?
But
so sorry, go ahead.
One more comment. No wonder it was so hard. The only clues that I could have got was the damn voice things. Thanks a lot.
I'm glad I got you. 3 stories, 3 systems, 3 people who did something reasonable people might do. Google a number, create an account, use a chatbot, and their lives were changed because of it. And in 1 of 3 cases, did anyone face accountability at all? And it was only Air Canada. They did actually get to have to be accountable, because there was a bunch of noise. No one else was. The format this week is the message. We couldn't write a lie that was scarier than what's already true. And that is exactly what Too Real is supposed to be about. Is that this stuff is too close to home, and it should make you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Did we get you this week? That was good.
That was good.
Really good.
Well, before we finalize up, I want to do another shout out to our guest here tonight, to Penelope. Thank you so much for joining us. Go and subscribe to her channel. She's got a new video up. You make videos each week, correct?
Yep, I post every week, whether it's a rant or animations.
She's got it. It's very, very good. Lots of great shorts. Very entertaining. So go and check it out. That is her YouTube page. So we'll say goodbye. Thank you for joining us, Penelope. You can sign off.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day. Thank you. Okay, Mike, let's finish up.
All right. So we've got our resources for your journey. So these are all available on breathewithinyoga.com. We have the June Divine Timing Guide. I'll describe it this way. The summer solstice is Sunday, June 21st. Chiron enters Taurus.
Chiron.
Oh, I thought I would have to say it right. Enters Taurus on Friday. This guide tells you exactly what each of these days asks of you. We have the 6-month guide, state-oriented, March to August 2026. It's 6 months of navigation and 25 pages. It's currently discounted, so if you add it to your if you add it to the checkout, you'll get 50% off. We're also still looking for beta testers for our Awaken Light app. It's a astrology and numerology ecosystem, and we're looking for beta testers. So go sign up at breathewithinyoga.com to be a beta tester. We also have the June thing we started, the Celestial Alignment Journey. This is the final week to join before the last session on June 20. Actually, there'd be 2 more sessions, right? Anyway,
it's on the 23rd. So yes, there's tomorrow, and then
I was going to say there's 2 more weeks. We've done 2. We're only halfway through June. So I'm getting messed up on the date. Your body, your chart, your healing, timed perfectly with the summer solstice. The link is in the description. And of course, the YouTube visibility engine. The solstice is the perfect moment to recommit to the content intention you planted last night. So we have businesses, you have a business perhaps, or you're an author. You need to make content to promote your business, your nonprofit, your book, etc., etc. So we're going to, in the visibility, we built a visibility engine to teach you how to start making content and become omnipresent and automatically get your content everywhere. So next on, we'll move on to the live schedule. We've got that open yet. YouTube visibility engine, you can sign up at IamYouTubeFamous.com. All the information's there. We teach Visibility University Saturdays, every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So you can follow go follow my channel, I Am YouTube Famous on YouTube, and you'll see the notice about the live every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern. The chat's always open, so bring questions about your YouTube channel or your content or whatever. It's an Ask Me Anything session. Come join us for that. On Sundays, we have the weekly energy forecast, the Breathe Within Yoga show. That's at 7:11 p.m. Eastern. Mondays, this show, 2 real, 2 truths, 1 lie. It's always at 7 p.m. Eastern, tonight it was at 8 p.m., but we'll show up for you and bring you 3 creepy tech stories because they're always fun to guess. We were surprised this week with 3 truths, right? We were looking for a lie, but it just wasn't there. And
I tricked you guys this week.
You tricked us good. I asked for that. And then Thursdays, honestly, though, 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's kind of like our news show, right? But really, they all intersect between visibility, technology, AIs everywhere these days. And we invite you to follow us, Julie's channel, at Breathe Within Yoga, my channel.
And you forgot the last thing. So it's the technology, the visibility, it's the communication, but it's also the energy. So the astrology and the numerology.
Yes.
So they all overlap. They
Yes.
do. So because each week, the next format's it's going to be the same. Each week we're going to continue. So make sure you come back next week for 2 truths, 1 lie. But after tonight, you might find it a little harder than it has been.
Because we lied to you.
We did. Lied. I'm the liar. So thank you again for joining us. Please do subscribe on your way out, like, and do share so other people that might find this content interesting and entertaining will find it as well. And on that, I think we're good. Have a great evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you again. Good night.
Good night.